COVID hit, it shut down my business. I was, prior to going to full-time entrepreneurship, I was working a job for 20 years and I
Okay.
had my business on the side. I was laid off in 2018. And so I just would say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and just lace it up, do what I got to do. And I moved my business into a full-time business. I was able to scale six
Congratulations.
figures within the
Congratulations.
first 6 months. Thank you.
Wow.
Of
Wow.
in government contracting. I went heavily after government contracting. So I
Mm,
am a federal prime contractor as well. And so 2 years in full-time entrepreneurship, COVID hit, knocked it down. So I'm going from thriving to surviving real
mm,
quick
mm.
because COVID had us shut down for so long. And so I went through, not only with my business being shut down, I shut down. And so I went through that emotional battle, that emotional state of being where it's just like, you know what, I don't know whether I'm coming or going. I don't know what's going to happen next. I need to pay my mortgage. I need to pay my car payment. I got a dog to take care of. I got all these other things. And so thankfully my daughter was already out the house and whatever, doing her own
Mm.
thing. But, it's just like all those truths, all those ugly truths came up. And so in the midst of it, I was able to see myself differently. It's like people were calling on me saying, "Hey Sasha, can I pick your brain about this? Can you help me with this?" And I had to really tell them, like, look, I can't show up for you. I can't even show up for myself.
Mm.
So at the same time, I never knew how burnt out I was until I sat still and I
Mm-hmm.
felt release. So when I finally got it together and, said, okay, I'm gonna relaunch this business and everything, one of the things was I was gonna write a book. And the book was about this, about my experience that I went through with the pandemic, with the being like just taking all the mask off. And so there were some keys, some valuable keys that I took out of my experience. And that was like knowing my capacity. As entrepreneurs, we need to know our capacity. A lot of times we will operate outside of an empty glass
Yeah.
so many times, and we could be so burnt out that we're numb to being burnt out. We still keep going, especially female entrepreneurs, because we're used to always taking on all these things. And
Mm.
so, that was a key. Like, I had to learn my capacity. I end up liking not having to be that person that had my hands in everything. Prior to the pandemic, I was in everything. I had
Mhm.
my business. I was working a full-time job. I managed another business. So I was also helping other businesses develop too and scale. And
Mhm.
so I had my hands in so many different pots and moving and moving. I'm just like, okay, I'm just doing this thing. But I was really burnt out. And
Mm.
so, also another key in the book is removing the mask, like really being real with yourself as an entrepreneur, like really being real. Remove that mask and see yourself for who you really are and know how to deal with that inward part because who we are on the inside reflects everything around us, even including our business. And so that's one of the things that I include, like mindset coaching with my business strategy coaching, because it all starts from here first. It all starts from within. And that way our business can be healthy. If we're healthy, our businesses are healthy. And
Mhm.
so those are just some of the keys. I talk about systems and, how we can set that up, how prioritizing self-care, like all these things are keys to managing wellness because when we have our systems in place, we have wellness. When we
Mhm.
prioritize self-care, we have wellness. When we know our capacity, we have wellness. So it's like all these different things. And when we're being real with ourselves, we have wellness. And so that's what the book is about in a nutshell. I know I gave a little extra nuggets,
Yeah,
but
you did.
but I love talking about it. And I just made myself, I am self-proclaimed advocate of entrepreneurship and mental wellness
Mm.
because of what I went through. So I wrote this book. I was going to I was speaking in Paris. And so when I had to come out for the topic of this conference, and I was just like, oh, I got all these prestigious people up on this conference, whatever. What am I going to talk about? And I was like, oh, mental health and entrepreneurship.
Right.
So what came out right before I left to go to Paris. And
Wow.
And that's what I actually, talked from.
Yeah, and that's beautiful. And so you said, what am I going to talk about? Was what was truly authentic to you?
Yeah.
That's all there was to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Not worry about
Absolutely.
what everybody else is talking about. Just be you, right? Be that.
That's
I
it.
love it. I love it. And what's the title of the book again?
It is the ugly truth about entrepreneurship, keys to managing mental wellness. This is even a selfie. I love talking about this. The picture. It's a
Yeah.
selfie. It's a selfie that I took when I was going through the
Mm.
state of things I was going through, and I just always remember that smile. So
Yes,
that's
that's a
why it's
beautiful
on the
picture.
cover. Thank
Yeah,
you.
so let's let me see what I want to go with this.
Mhm.
Let's have I want to because it's so much, but, but you got to wind up coming back again. I already know. So let's talk about we're gonna talk about your coaching business first, then we're gonna take a commercial break, and then
Okay.
we'll come back and talk about the owner anthology and the DR.
Yes.
I want to talk about your coaching program first.
Yes. Yes. So yes, I like to stay away from being that business coach. I love the business strategist because too many people are coach. Everybody's a coach, right? And
Yeah.
so I love standing out and being different. But I help entrepreneurs start their businesses. I help them pivot their business. So if they're in a state of pivoting, or if they're in a growth state or a beginning state, I help them start it with strategic practices. Um, I firmly believe in a small business should establish themselves like a corporation does, not to be incorporated, but to
Mm.
establish as a corporation. So, like when you see these big corporate companies operating the way they do, they're still small businesses in the terms of the Small Business Administration, because it's all about value, how much they're bringing in. But they
Mm.
manage themselves well. And a lot of times, small business owners or entrepreneurs, they skip a lot of steps. So, what I like to do is go in and help people, look at these steps in the process that they need to do to get to that place that where they want to go into. Um, that is including business development and the strategic practices, that's marketing and branding. So I do have a full suite that I operate in. Um, and also, like I said before, I include mindset coaching because once again, I believe in holistic entrepreneurship and
Mm.
that you are your business. So you are that blueprint of success. So
Yes.
how well you're going to act in yourself is how well your business is going to perform. And when you pull all these things together, then that's when you have a cohesive business. You have one that is sustainable. You have it, and, it's profitable, and you have longevity. My passion for helping entrepreneurs now has deepened and has grown so greatly because during the pandemic, there were over 200,000 businesses that closed down. Now, there were a lot of businesses that started, but Wall
Mhm.
Street Journal had did a survey in 2021 and showed that it was over 200,000 businesses that closed their doors.
Wow.
And for so many different reasons, some of them probably people got ill because of COVID. A
Mhm.
lot of times it was the money flow, it was the cash
Mhm.
flow, it was the businesses not being sustained. So what was those practices and processes? What was the strategic planning? Did they have a business plan, to be as their foundation, to
Mm.
know what goals or how to manage their finances and go forth from there? So when I think about that, it just fuels me even more to want to help people to say, you know what, we're going to get this foundation going good, because you cannot brand without having a foundation. You cannot
Right.
market without having your business foundation strong. And I'm not talking about, oh, what type of entity you're going to get, are you a LLC or so forth. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking
Mm.
about how you're going to sit here and you cast your vision. The biggest part of what I love to do is the business planning, the business plan process of it. And a lot of times people will look at that business plan as something they're going to take to the investors, or they're going to take to the bank, or there's something, so
Mm.
let's say this, but you hear that more so than anything else. But
Right.
it is your blueprint. It is when you're breaking it down, that's when you're finding your target audience at
Mhm.
that moment, not after you start your business. It is when you're going to project your financials. You're going to look at, okay, if you're going to get business credit and all this other stuff, how are you projecting your financials? How are you going to manage that to come in and bring income in so you're not having debt? So those are the things that, I go through with my clients and really make sure they're on a strong path going forward. And it's going to help them be profitable, but it's more so going to help them be sustainable. So if anything happens, like a recession or another, pandemic or whatever, will they be able to stand
Mm-hmm.
that test of time? So that's where I'm at, and how I work with my clients in business coaching and the strategic process.
Oh, okay. I love that. You
Mhm.
covering all bases.
All
Definitely. And
bases.
that mindset, that should be first.
Hmm.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, it is, because some people,
Mhm.
I've had somebody say, "What if I'm successful?" That's a question, they're asking
Mm.
themselves. It's like, what are you afraid of? What is there that you're fearful about, when it comes down to being successful?
Mm.
That is something in that mindset that needs to be broken. So there's a
Mhm.
lot of different things that come from that mindset process that can help you
Mhm.
be a better business owner.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. And what's the name of your book again, Sasha?
The ugly truth about entrepreneurship: keys to managing mental wellness.
I love it. I love it, ladies and gentlemen. We have had an amazing time thus far. We're going to take a commercial break and we'll be back.
Global Hits Radio is your 24-hour diverse listening option all day, all night. R&B, smooth jazz, and hip-hop is Global Hits Radio. That's hits with a Z.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We are back. I wanted to give a shout out to our sponsors for today's episode of Snails and No Shells. We have Own It Magazine and Global Hits Radio. That's hits with a Z. We thank you guys for being sponsors of this episode of Snails and No Shells. And ladies and gentlemen, if you want to be a contributing writer like Sasha and I are, that's how we met, because of that opportunity with Own It Magazine, and the publisher and editor in chief Marisa Blurdon. We met through her. You can also be a contributing writer if you want to be in the magazine or even on the cover of the magazine. Y'all can DM me, hit me up, let me know. Yeah, we're always doing things, exciting things in the Own It family. And also for Global Hits, if you have a song that you may feel like is a hit, DM me. We can talk about some things and see what's going on. Yeah, because right now we are listening to new artists and their music, and she might be able to hit Sasha about that.
I'm not going to pull some artists for you.
you know.
Definitely can.
All right, all right, all right. So yes, we are back with the beautiful Sacha Walton, the business strategist. So Sasha, on this part of the show, we're going to talk about the Own It anthology. You were one of the 57 amazing authors in the anthology, and we are Amazon #1 bestsellers. Woo, woo,
Woo-hoo.
So tell us, what was the name of your chapter and what it was about?
Oh, the name of my chapter was Trust Your Dopeness.
Hey,
Yes. Trust your dopeness.
yes.
Yeah, so basically it's, trust your dopeness is my reminder of you're great. Always trust the greatness within you. And, when we just hear dope, dope is just such a powerful word in itself, in its slangish way or whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it. But that's what it's really all about. It was more so about the reminders of, don't second guess yourself, don't play it small. Don't, I look at myself, and over the years, done a lot of great things, but I've also played it small because I was so loving being behind the scenes all the time. I didn't care. I hide behind the logo. I hide behind other people's logos or whatever. But the thing is, when you play as yourself small and you don't show up in the greatness of who you are, you rob people from experiencing the greatness of who you are. There's a glory that comes from you that other people can experience, and it helps to level them up as well as you growing in that same type of dopeness. So trust your dopeness is just all about trusting in yourself, trust, in your faith, if you believe in God and so forth, like all of that, just trusting the greatness of who you are, your confidence, not talking about being cocky, but just that humble confidence that it is that you can say, you know what, I could do this hands down. I could be this great person. I can soar. I can fly. You could do all these things. And so that's what it's all about. Trust your dopeness.
And how was your, during how was your process when you were writing it? Like, was it an easy process for you, or how was your writing process for this?
It was an easy process. One chapter is better than trying to write 7 on your own.
Right.
It was an easy process because once you know exactly like the topic, if you're writing from the heart, it makes it easy. And so for me, I just know that writing from the heart is easier than just trying to come off the top about something. And I know that that's heartfelt for me, and I use it for myself. So it's like my thing is, my rule of thumb is, if it impacts me, it can impact somebody else. So share it. And that's what I do. And then, so that's why it was easier to write it for me. And then even down to the journal part, having to break that down a little bit.
Oh my gosh. Let's talk about the journal. Yeah. So we had to submit like a week's worth of journaling for you all, ladies and gentlemen. Man, how was that? How did you do that piece to go with the dopeness?
Yeah, I just had to kind of dig in, like, like what I was just mentioning, like, what is it that you would say that you need to trust in yourself more, and how to break that down as a journal type, devotional type of thing, to say, okay, this quote or this phrase or whatever it is, it has to bring impact. And that's how I looked at it from that standpoint. And like I said, if it impacts me, I know it's going to impact somebody else. And I just had to look at it from that point of view. So it made it easy, to do it that way. And like I said, after one chapter, and then the six parts that you had to do for the journal. I had 6. So 6 parts for the journal. I said it done. Oof, I'm out. So, being a writer is not easy. And I know a lot of times people, I want to write a book. I want to do this. I want to do that. It's not easy. Sometimes you get writer's blocks so fast. You get distracted. You get all these things. And I would say that writing that one chapter was easier than me writing my first book. My first book is actually called Beyond the Music. It's a music entrepreneurship guide for music artists. And that took me months. My second book took me 1 month. To get it done. And so it all depends on where you're not going to allow the distractions to get you and to really have a certain flow. And I think about even trying to write an article, sometimes it can be a little hard, but it all depends on you flow from your heart. You flow from your heart, it makes it a little bit more easier. But pulling content is kind of
right. Right. And that's a good thing about the Own It magazine, is that you can market your business, whatever you have going on. It's not, you don't have to always just focus so much on writing. You can write, talk about your business and promote yourself in the magazine too. So I do love that we have that openness,
makes it easy.
Yeah, it does. And she allows you to tap into your creativity.
And repurpose your content as well.
Yeah. So it's good stuff. The DR. So all of this, we became Amazon #1 bestsellers. We wrote our chapters. We wrote our journaling prompts, and for that part, the journaling piece, I was trying to figure out what I was going to do, because I had no idea what I was going to do. And so I have this coloring book for adults. It's a mental health coloring book, and it's affirmation. So while you're coloring, you programming your subconscious mind as
Mm-hmm.
you're coloring. So some of my stuff, my affirmations is I am beautiful. I deserve to be happy. You know, um, I am at peace or whatever. And so I incorporated my coloring book into
Yeah.
the journal. So yeah, so those are your journal prompts. On one page, it might have, I am beautiful, and you break down, you write about how you feel about that, or whatever prompt it is, you write about it, and then you color on the
Yeah.
other side. So, but I was like, yeah, and I was like, I didn't know what I was going to do. And I'm speaking from experience. I'm talking about, I'm looking at everybody else, like, as people are, doing this and that. And I know I'm definitely more of the creative, like, because I got journals, I got coloring books
Mhm.
for adults, I have coloring books for children, all that's on Amazon, the podcast. So I'm more of the creative, the
Mhm.
business part. I'm like, oh gosh, not that's not that's I don't call them weaknesses. I call them lesser strengths.
Let's just, I love it.
Right. The business side of the part, that's my lesser strength. I'm more into the vision and the creative part. So
Right.
everybody, doing these different things, and I'm like, well, dang, I don't know what I'm going to do. It's something. I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to be true to who I am, right?
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
going to embrace my dopeness, my creativity. I'm just going to
That's
submit
it.
my coloring pages. Hey,
Yeah.
and it turned out really nice. It turned out really nice. I was excited. I was glad I did that. Just
I'm
being,
glad you did too. I mean, it gave it a different feel to the book, to the
yeah,
journal. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. That's why you talk about like embracing your dopeness, man.
Yeah.
Even the as the finer we get, like fine wine, there's levels to this. There's levels to this, and we talk about you had one shell you had to come out of, and you get to another level. That's another shell. So there are
Mhm.
different levels of shells, and that you have
Yes.
to take off.
Mm-hmm.
And the more you grow,
You outgrow that shell.
right, and it's time to get a new one, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Yes. So how was your experience in the DR?
It was amazing. It was amazing. Just being there with the conference, everybody meeting everyone, because we've always been on Zoom this entire time prior
Hmm.
to meet each other face to face. So it was good to be able to meet you and, like I said, the crew. Hey y'all, and then so many other people that were just a blessing to be around. Everybody was just a blessing to be around, and just when you could come together and everybody just have a great time. There's
Hmm.
no shade thrown, especially amongst women. Like a lot of times as women we come together, sometimes it's like you just feel kind of sometimes you
Right.
didn't feel that, it didn't feel it. You just felt the genuineness that was there amongst everyone. And we had a great time. We partied, we danced on the beach, we did karaoke, also being able to be one of the speakers. I was
Yes.
thankful to be able to do that and talk to everyone about building how to build their visibility for their business as well as their brand. And because everyone is an author, one of the things that Marissa was really in implying to people, like, you're an author, but you can be a speaker. You can take this and you can do more with it, because a lot of people, was their first time doing something like that.
Yeah.
And so being able to pull that together, especially talking about the TEDx event that I'm doing, and how you can become a speaker, or how you can take your book in a chapter and just go and do workshops like Marissa talk about. And I was
Hmm.
talking about how you can take that and that could be your next speech for something else. And
Hmm.
so there are so many different ways of tying it in. And the whole thing is, when you're in something like that, in that atmosphere, you want to take it with you. There's so many valuable nuggets, so many relationships, so many friendships, so many gems that I was able to take back. And one thing I really love the most is how we still connected.
Hmm.
That's the greatest part out of it. That we're still connected in so many different ways, and it just haven't died out.
No, and that's how it's family. We are really a own it family. We really are. And
Hmm.
it's really, we're all genuine in our own, and have our own contribution to the family. And it is definitely is real. Because like you said, we are still connected. We still, talking, helping each other out and talking about,
Mhm.
whatever programs we have going on and this and that and the
Yeah.
other, and even happy birthdays.
I
Like,
know. Everything we share our celebrations within our group,
yeah.
and like you said, we're the own it family, but we're owning
Hmm.
those relationships that we have found with each other. So that's the beauty part about it.
I think that's beautiful too. The relationships that we wind up having.
Yeah.
Um, so you know what? And I forgot about the TEDx. Wait, I forgot about that. We get to the end, and I forgot about the TED. Like, who knows? Do any of you guys know anybody that's close to the TEDx thing situation? I do. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. See, this is what happens when you're a part of the owning family. Everybody's always doing something. Yeah. So let's talk about the TEDx
Yeah.
quickly before we go. Yes, Sasha.
Yes, 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 yes. So I am the curator of TEDx Mellon Street in Hampton, Virginia.
Yeah.
So if anybody goes
Congratulations.
onto the .com or .org, you'll see TEDx Mellon Street. That's me. Thank you for the congratulations. It is going to be November 18th here in Hampton. Is at the American Theater. We've already closed out our call for speakers. So we had like 84 applications. We're going to go through the auditions and everything. We'll have to narrow all that down to like 10 to 12 speakers. So
Oh
that's
wow.
going to be fun in so many ways.
Yeah.
It's like, but I have a wonderful team, and I'm looking forward to being able to have this event for not just our community here. This is going to be the first TEDx event since 2014, I believe. And then also, since we're just kind of leaving Juneteenth,
Mm-hmm.
I'm the first African American woman to bring it to Hampton Roads. So that's the Juneteenth
Yes.
celebration right there. Um,
Yes.
yeah, so
Love it.
my theme is power of inclusion. And it's just like thinking outside the box with it. We look at inclusion being more so tied into ethnic backgrounds or diversity and so forth, but inclusion is more than that. Inclusion is that scientific breakthrough that somebody thought it was well enough to be included into what we have in our everyday lives, or that innovation, or that creative idea, or the poetry, or whatever it is that people have that we see in our everyday lives. That's inclusion.
Mm.
And so I wanted to be able to put the theme in action by how I think outside the box with it, because TED is all about ideas worth sharing. And so this is my idea worth sharing through the theme. I can't be a speaker on my own stage, so I have to
Right.
share it somehow. But
Right.
being able to allow people to flow in that, so I didn't really
Mhm.
have like a topic that they had to stay within. I just have a theme. And then however you think outside the box with that, then that's what we're going to look for, and we'll select those speakers. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be exciting.
Yes.
One of the things I like about the theater, also dealing with inclusion, that it was the first theater in our area that desegregated. So there's
Mm.
a lot of good history there in that. And,
Yes.
desegregation is a forerunner of inclusion, when you think about it in that level. So, yeah, that's what it's going to be. You can follow the information is on TEDx Mellon Street on Facebook and Instagram. And definitely follow us and keep up with everything that we're doing.
Yes. That is amazing. Can I get my media pass and come
You sure can, girl.
and be a media?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I'm coming.
Yes.
It's in November. Yes, I need them. I'll be there with
Yes.
my pass and my camera and doing my thing. Yes,
Yes. You can
Global
do
Hits
that.
Radio Media. Yes, we have that. I thought about you because we were talking about that.
Right,
I
exactly.
take
Yes,
good notes now. I take good notes. You're the inspiration, Sasha.
oh,
You're the
thank you.
inspiration.
Thank
Yes,
you.
yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
yes. So, oh, ladies and gentlemen, this was an amazing conversation. I really enjoyed this time that we shared together, Sasha. I told you
Yes,
she's a
yes.
beautiful person inside and out.
Thank
I love it.
you.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
Sasha, before we go, just give us maybe a quote or a nugget or something that you'd like to share with the audience before we go.
Oh gosh. I just do one I close out my show with all the time. remember to always be great in what you do and command your day. When you command your day, you are in charge of how that day is going to go, and you're in charge of how great you're going to be in that day. So just remember to always be great and command your day.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Oh, yeah. And I do want to ask you one more time the
Yes.
title of your book,
Hmm.
where we can get it at, and your whatever social media handles you want to put out there.
Okay, so yeah, the book is The Ugly Truth About Entrepreneurship Keys to Managing Mental Wellness. It is everywhere, you guys. It's on Amazon, it's on Books a Million, it's on Barnes and Noble. You just Google it. You can find wherever you want to purchase it from.
Okay.
Um, and then also, you could Google me too. Just Google me. All my socials will show up and everything, but you could definitely follow me on Instagram at That Girl Sash. Here on Facebook, you can follow me at Sacha Walton. That's SachaWalton. I'm the lady with the red dress. You can't miss me. And so, and LinkedIn, Sacha Walton as well. And just look for the red dress and you'll see
All
me.
right. Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you, Sacha Walton, business strategist. Or you say, is it strategist or strategist? What is it?
Strategist.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
But
right.
some people do say strategist. We're gonna go with the fancy way. Strategic.
Strategist. Yes.
Yes, that's
Okay.
what we do. Love it. Ah,
Awesome. Awesome. Again, thank you, Sacha.
thank you,
Ladies and
BJ.
gentlemen, I would like to say that you can catch Snails and No Shells on Global Hits Radio, as well as Hits with a Z on Mondays and Wednesdays at 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. You can catch it on Thursday night on Facebook at 7 p.m. And Sasha's podcast comes on at 8 p.m. on Thursday nights. And what's the name of your podcast, Sasha?
According to Sacha Podcast.
According to Sasha, she's doing everything, y'all. So you can catch me on Facebook on Thursday night. BJ Martin, Instagram, MS_BJ Martin, LinkedIn, Miss BJ Martin, TikTok, Miss BJ Martin. I'm everywhere, and the show is going to be on Apple, Amazon, on most digital platforms. So you'll be able to hear me, see me on YouTube. And again, I enjoyed this time. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for taking the time to spend with us here at Snails and No Shells. And before we go, what I would like to say, and what I always say, is remember, just like the sun, you are necessary. I love y'all. Peace. Just my imagination, or is it just insanity for me to constantly care for that deep soul, feel love, that protective connect?